Welcome to Circle's Yuletide Joy Full Moon broadcast. Before we get started tonight, I wanted to acknowledge that many are celebrating this year while missing a loved one. There may be an empty chair where there wasn't before. I encourage you to remember your loved ones and stories during the holiday and keep them alive in your heart. Remember that grief has no timeline, and you're allowed to grieve in whatever way is best for you, however you need, for however long is needed. May the memories of Yuletides past bring you more joy than sorrow this year. Now I would like to introduce Circle Sanctuary's High Priestess and Senior Minister, Reverend Selena Fox.
Thank you, Dia, and welcome to our monthly full moon circle. And this full moon circle marks the 50th anniversary of Circle Sanctuary holding community Yule festivities. So at Yuletide back in 1974, we began bringing people together to celebrate the season. And this year, we're beginning this solstice week with our full moon celebration, and then we'll be celebrating Solstice Eve and Solstice Day. So happy winter solstice week to all celebrating in the Northern Hemisphere. Happy summer solstice week to all celebrating in the Southern Hemisphere. Happy solstice time, full moon to all who are around the world celebrating. And we invite you to share where you're watching from in the live chat, or if you are joining us later when this is archived at the Circle Sanctuary YouTube channel, I invite you to let us know in the comments and also share a way that you celebrate Yule and full moon. So it's wonderful to have you all joining us. And now we'll have time for a few more announcements.
Salutations. I'm Melissa, and on behalf of all the Circle volunteers with us on this broadcast tonight, thank you for joining us. This coming Friday, December 20th, Circle will be broadcasting our longest night winter solstice ceremony at 7 p.m. Central Time. Also here on YouTube, and the following day, we'll be holding our All Hail Wassail Yule celebration on the Circle land from 9:30 to 5:30. If you can join us, please register on our website, www.circlesanctuary.org, where you can also find out more about Circle's in-person and online activities coming up in 2025, and where you can become a member or make a donation. Please join us again when we celebrate our New Beginnings Full Moon Circle on Monday, January 13th. Stephen will now cast our circle.
Greetings all. We now are approaching the celebration of Yule, and this is the moon that is closest to the celebration of Yule, so the sacred wheel of the year has turned once again. It is now midwinter. As our forefathers did, we do now, and so may our descendants do in time to come. It is the solstice, the longest night, the shortest day, and we anticipate the return of the sun, and since the summer it's gradually become colder and darker, but from this time forwards the days shall get longer and brighter and warmer again. The solar year has run its course and completed its cycle, and a new year begins, bringing light, life, and hope to the earth. So we welcome the east and air, which now carries cold winds, yet will soon bring a breath of spring. We welcome the south and fire, which now brings us a feeble glow, yet will soon be warm again. We welcome the west and water, which now is frozen and snow, yet will soon bring the waters of renewed life. And we welcome the north and earth, which is now hard and unforgiving, but yet will soon bring crops from fertile soil. The circle is cast, and we are between the worlds. Blessed be.
And in this sacred circle, let us attune to the Yuletide full moon. Attune to the Yuletide full moon. Attune to the Yuletide full moon. We draw down the power of the moon into our sacred circle, into ourselves, and into this season. And we call into our sacred circle the Yuletide spirit of joy and happiness. Yuletide joy, Yuletide cheer, Yuletide spirit, welcome here. Yuletide joy, Yuletide cheer, Yuletide spirit, welcome here. Yuletide joy, Yuletide cheer, Yuletide spirit, welcome here. So be it.
Thank you, Selena. This moon cycle, we celebrate Yuletide joy, the winter solstice, the longest night of the year, the return of the sun, all in the middle of the cold, dark winter here in the Northern Hemisphere. Now is the time of our most need for the light and warmth of a fire. I light this ecologically friendly recycled beeswax candle to represent the bonfire as we pagans light in the center of our ritual circles. I celebrate fire in all its forms, from a small candle to a large bonfire. So mote it be. Up next is Dia to have us all kindle our individual candles.
As we kindle our individual candles, I would like to say, one spirit in the dark, like a candle wavers, many spirits joined as one, burn with the power of the renewing sun. There is strength in community. The circle empowers you and me. The circle binds yet sets us free in the goddess name, so mote it be. Char will now lead us in a chant.
Hey everybody, Char Bear here, hailing to you from the Monterey Bay, the land of the Ohlone peoples, Rumsen and Esalen. And I want to kick this off with welcoming in joy with this sort of chant, and I'm going to invite you all have a part. And I want you to sort of visualize the Yuletide circle wherever you are, however that's going to be. Maybe it's just a few folks, maybe it's you and an ancestor, maybe it's a big mob. I don't know, but I hope you're with people who can really light a fire with you. And here's your part. Bumba hey day, bumba hey, bumba hey day, bumba hey. Try that for a minute. Bumba hey day, bumba hey, bumba hey day, bumba hey. And the idea is you can go full on troll like Lord of the Rings if you want, or you can just keep it really light with a little tiny, little boron drumming sound. It's up to you, whatever kind of circle you got. So when I get to that part in the chant, we're going to do it 3 times. This is a chant called Yuletide Comes by Flora Ware. You may know it. And we're just going to enter into that bumba hey day, bumba hey, bum. And you are welcome to add whatever revelry movement you want to do in that moment. It might just be smiling like a little tickle, or you might just do a full-on body thing. I don't know. It's up to you. Ready? So thank you, Flora Ware. Bumba hey day, bumba hey, bumba hey day, bumba hey, oh bumba hey day, bumba hey, bumba hey day, bumba hey. Yuletide comes, the old year dies, our peaceful hearts are yearning. In the deep dark winter's night, the solstice fire is burning. Celebrate the winter, Lord, merry holly king, a bonny wreath upon our door to welcome joy within. Bumba hey day, bumba hey, bumba hey day, bumba hey. Yuletide comes, the old year dies, our peaceful hearts are yearning. In the deep dark winter's night, the solstice fire is burning. Celebrate the winter Lord, merry holly king. A bonny wreath upon our door to welcome joy within. Here we go. And bumba hey day, bumba hey, bumba day, hey, bumba day, bumba day, hey, bumba day, bumba day, hey, bumba day. Yuletide comes, the old year dies, our peaceful hearts are yearning. In the deep dark winter's night, the solstice fire is burning. Celebrate the winter Lord, merry holly king. A bonny wreath upon our door to welcome joy within. Bumba hey. Happy Yule, everybody. Back to you, Dia.
Now Marion will present Silent Night, Solstice Night.
Oh, I thought you were going to be sharing 'Twas the Night Before Solstice, dear.
Oh, I totally am, but later.
Oh, okay. Well, all right.
We were going to
Well-
ask Chris. Actually, Marion, we were going to ask Christopher to go ahead and do his Yuletide poem now. So
Okay,
thank you for
great.
having that. You ready, Christopher?
Sure am. I'm all ready for you. All right. So, hello, everyone. My name is Christopher. I'm a student in the Circle Sanctuary Ministry Training Program, and I'd like to share some lyrics from musician Lisa Teal's song Yule from the Circle of the Seasons album. I really enjoy this song, and I encourage you to listen to it at your leisure. And there are many more wonderful lyrics to this song, and today I'm only going to share the first few stanzas. Enter the night, and you'll find the light that will carry you to your dreams. Enter the night, let your spirit take flight in the field of infinite possibilities. On the longest night, we search for the light, and we find it deep within. Open your eyes to embrace what is wise, and see the light of your own soul shining. Wrap up in the cloak of starry darkness, my child, and you'll find the center of all things. For from this space of the deepest dark place, life eternal does spring. So when you find that spark, when you dream in the dark, hold it close to your heart and know all that you see is all that can be when you give birth to the dreams of your soul. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And with that, I'll turn it over to Marin for a song.
Thank you so much, Christopher. Well, this song, Silent Night, Solstice Night, is based upon that 19th century carol, Silent Night, written by Joseph Moore, and is a lullaby for the longest night of the year and the deep winter that bids us to rest, sleep, and renew our strength for the coming springtime and the renewal of life that it brings. Silent night, solstice night, quiet rest until the light, turning ever the rolling wheel, brings the winter to comfort and heal. Rest your spirit in peace. Rest your spirit in peace. Silent night, solstice night, all is calm, all is bright. Nature slumbers in forest and glen, till the springtime she wakens Sleeping spirits grow strong. Sleeping spirits grow strong. Silent night, solstice night, silver moon shining bright, snowflakes blanket the slumbering earth, Yule fires welcome the sun's rebirth. Hark, the light is reborn. Hark, the light is reborn.
I believe I'm up next to share the story of Frau Holda. I'm Reverend Minerva, and I'm one of the Circle Sanctuary ministers. And you may know Frau Holda by different names. It may be Bertha, it may be Old Mother Frost, it may be Mother Goose, but Frau Holda or Frau Hola is her early name. She predates Norse, the Norse pantheon, and is definitely pre-Christian, but I'm sure you've all heard of her in one way or another. Primarily, you've probably heard of her through the Grimm's Brothers fairy tales. Frau Holda has a Cinderella type story where a young girl comes, helps her out, and is gifted with gold for being such a hard worker. The young girl's stepsister comes, the ugly stepsister, unfortunately, and is lazy and is gifted instead with tar and pitch. The moral there being, we've still got to work hard during the winter in order to prepare for our upcoming spring. So this pre-Christian female figure that we know as Frau Hola, her name means gracious and friendly, which is something we all need to be this time of year because we get to spend a lot of time together because we're not out in our fields or out doing the work that we would normally be doing. She is also known as Lady Snowstorm or Old Mother Blizzard or the Dark Grandmother or even the White Lady. Basically, she is the crone of the Norse and Germanic and Swiss and Alpine faith-based. She wears a crown of snow, and hers is a Yuletide story. She sleeps all year long and wakes this time of year to make sure children are happy and healthy and festive during the longest and coldest nights. She makes sure they are warm. And it snows this time of year because she is shaking out her feather bed, and the goose feathers are flying from where she is to the earth, creating snow. Her correspondences include holly and mistletoe, no surprise there, and her feast day is actually the 25th of December. Given that this is a time of year where in old days we would not have been out tilling our fields, we would have been inside, she is a goddess of domesticity and what are now and then considered women's crafts such as weaving and spinning. She wakes, as I mentioned, she wakes to be sure the children are happy and healthy, and she governs is not the right word. She oversees this dark time of year and also the dark time of our life cycle, that time between death and rebirth, much as many other feminine deities do. She gathers together the unbaptized children or those that passed from the womb and were not born alive. And she is said to ride the wild hunt with them, leading them by riding her distaff or her sprig of holly or what became the witch's broom. She is a white-robed female spirit, and as I mentioned, has a crown of white hair in the old tales. She is also related to the Cailleach of Scotland, the old hag or the crone of Scotland. And weirdly, she oversees the young and the fertile and the beautiful as well. Maybe not weirdly. This is an in-between time, and she is an in-between deity.
and make sure we're getting ready for the new year. So not only are we making sure we're safe during the winter and that we have the food and the clothing and the good cheer that we need, but that we're preparing for the upcoming spring and for the planting. So she is definitely of this time of year. If you want to work with Frau Holda this time of year, put that mistletoe out, put that holly out, put those candles out to light the darkness. Bring in domestic crafts and domestic activities into your rituals. A spindle of some sort or a distaff which holds the fiber to be spun will definitely see Frau Holda being happy. So celebrate our Mother Goose, celebrate the old lady of the old frost, and celebrate this time of year. Thank you.
So I believe we have Black Willow Starling next.
Yes. Hello, everybody. We are Black Willow Starling. Happy Yuletide season.
Snow light in the darkening hour, luminous aglow, gladsome beaming incandescence, reflections of the sky on a world below. Twilight on a winter's evening, muffled falling snow, melded color blend together, wrapped around the land, turned indigo. And all the stars shine, frozen in time, as evergreen, evergreen and Yuletide. In the half light, bathed in blue and azure, Yuletide peace abounds. Swirling snowflakes fall beside me, breathing in the stillness all around. By the fireside, warmth of friends and laughter to keep the longest night. We mark the seasons, search our senses, look within the dark to find the light. And all the stars shine, frozen in time, as evergreen, evergreen and Yuletide.
Happy Yuletide, everybody.
Happy Yuletide.
Now back over to Selena.
Wonderful song. And I invite all of us to call to mind Yuletide joy from some of the sacred plants connected with this time of year. Since ancient times, people have been bringing into their homes, into buildings and the public square and sacred circles, plants that continue to be green during the cold part of the year. Evergreens have been part of Yuletide celebrations, winter solstice celebrations, Saturnalia, and the other names that have been for this start of the winter season. Evergreens, the continuity of life. And I invite you to take a few moments as you look at this evergreen and to experience the evergreen that's within yourself, recognizing resilience and well-being and the joy that can enhance that. Evergreen within us, evergreen around us. So be it. So this particular evergreen is in tree form behind me. And this tree is got lots of ornaments and lights, and you can even see it's got a star on top. And it's a tradition in my household to go to a family farm that grows trees for celebrating the holidays and to harvest one and to bring it back and to bring it into our homes. Now, people across cultures and many parts of the world have been bringing in evergreen sprigs, we know, for thousands of years. The holiday tree story in America really has its inspiration and widespread circulation during the 1800s, during what's known as the Victorian era, when Queen Victoria and Prince Philip took this old German custom and brought a tree into their homes. Well, images of the tree in an American form got published in an American publication, and all of a sudden the willingness and interest in having trees and decorating trees in the home started taking off. So let us celebrate the continuity of life, not only with the evergreen sprigs and garlands, but also tree form, and recognize that this tradition connects us with people of many faith backgrounds that celebrate at this time of year. I also want to bring into our Yuletide Joy full moon the blessings of the season from some other holiday plants. Holly, ivy, and mistletoe. All of these were used in the old winter solstice time celebration known as Saturnalia. And instead of saying happy holidays or happy solstice, the cry was, "Yo, Saturnalia!" Each of these plants continued to be green even during the cold parts of the year. The holly connected with fertility and protection, sacred to the agricultural form of the divine known as Saturn. And this holly continues to make its way in Christmas and New Year's traditions. In fact, many depictions of Santa Claus have Santa with a crown of holly, representing the old solar year passing. In addition to holly, There's also ivy, and there's even an old carol, The Holly and the Ivy. Ivy, too, was used as part of Saturnalia, and in addition to its connection with Saturn and that festivity, connected with the god Bacchus, not only god of wine, but of good times. And as I hold this ivy wreath, I invite you to experience the beauty of connecting with others at holiday time. And may you experience yourself as part of this sacred circle, this sacred wreath of celebrants, not only now, but carry this memory into your solstice week and beyond. Mistletoe. Now, this is dried mistletoe, and it has kind of a golden color. In fact, it's sometimes known as the golden bough. And in addition to being connected with fertility and yet another decoration at Saturnalia, the ancient Roman winter solstice festival, sacred to Saturn and his partner Ops, the goddess Ops, who gives us the name opulent. This was a plant that was associated with healing, with peace and love. Some say the tradition of kissing under the mistletoe actually has its roots in Saturnalia celebrations. People made crowns of mistletoe. Now, amongst the Celtic people, mistletoe was sacred, especially the mistletoe on the oak. And Scandinavian people, the mistletoe was also part of sacred stories. One that's less known is that Balder, who was killed by Loki with an arrow made of mistletoe, actually had mistletoe as part of his resurrection. And mistletoe has been associated across cultures and through the ages with peace and love, and it's a plant connected with healing. So I invite you, as you look at this mistletoe, to call upon healing for yourself, for others that are in need. Many blessings. And with holly, protection and fun. Let those blessings flow into our Yuletide as well. The Yule log. Now, this is one form of Yule log. The ones that we buy, that we get from the woods and put in our hearth fire, are made of oak, as is this, but are much bigger. And no one knows completely for sure who kindled the first Yule log. But Yule logs have been burned at this time of year as part of celebrations. Oak, not only represented by the Yule log, but many people decorate with acorns. Oak in the making. So as I hold this Yule log up, I invite you to connect with those celebrating solstice all around the world, winter solstice in the northern hemisphere and summer solstice in the southern hemisphere at this full moon time. And let the strength and the resilience of the oak be with all celebrating around the world. And let us now take all of these sacred plants and their blessings into our minds as we call upon the joy of this season to bring healing to our planet. And in the next few moments of quiet, As Chris plays some flute music, I invite you to let the healing, the blessings, the peace, the love flow out to the planet as a whole and to all of those in need. Planet Earth, be well. Planet Earth and all the life that's part of the biosphere, be well. Planet Earth, our home, be well. And may humankind find good ways to collaborate together to strengthen our connections with the planet and to aid that wellness and healing process. So mote it be.
Thank you for that healing, Selena. So this next song, I've always loved the music for. And I was so very glad when I heard a pagan version for the very first time. That one referred to a Wiccan wonderland. But since I am not Wiccan, I did what I sometimes do best. And I filked a filk of a favorite Yuletide theme song. This is Dancing in a Pagan Wonderland. Pagan sing, are you listening? Altar set, candles glisten. It's the magical light we're seeing tonight, dancing in a pagan wonderland. Blades held high, censer smoking, God and Goddess we're invoking. Through elements five, we celebrate life, dancing in a pagan wonderland. In a circle we can burn a Yule fire and await the rising of the sun. It's the great wheel turning for the new year, loaded with abundance and great fun. Queen of heaven in her place, triple goddess now the crone face. Above and below she's the goddess we know, dancing in a pagan wonderland. Now the God is a provider, supplying game for our fire. Above and below he's the horned one we know, dancing in a pagan wonderland. In a circle we can burn a Yule fire and await the rising of the sun. It's the great wheel turning for the new year, loaded with abundance and great fun. Later on by the fire, cone of power rising higher. It's a magical light we're seeing tonight, dancing in a pagan wonderland, dancing in a pagan wonderland, dancing in a pagan wonderland.
Thank you, Maren. I will now do a pagan 'Twas the Night Before Solstice. 'Twas the night before Yuletide, and all through the glen not a creature was stirring, not a fox, not a hen. A mantle of snow shone brightly that night as it lay on the ground, reflecting moonlight. The fairies were nestled all snug in their trees, unmindful of flurries and chilly north breeze. The elves and the gnomes were down in their burrows, sleeping like babes in their soft earthen furrows. When lo, the earth moved with a thunderous quake, causing chairs to fall over and dishes to break. The little folks scrambled to get on their feet, then raced to the river where they usually meet. What happened? They wondered, they questioned, they probed, as they shivered in nightclothes, some bare armed, some robed. What caused the earth shudder? What caused her to shiver? They all spoke at once as they stood by the river. Then what to their wondering eyes should appear but a shining gold light in the shape of a sphere? It blinked and it twinkled, it winked like an eye, then it flew straight up and was lost in the sky. Before they could murmur, before they could bustle, there emerged from the crowd with a swoosh and a rustle a stately old crone with her hand on a cane, resplendent in green with a flowing white mane. As she passed by them, the old crone's perfume, smelling of meadows and flowers abloom, made each of the fay folk think of the spring when the earth wakes from slumber and the birds start to sing. My name is Gaia, the old crone proclaimed in a voice that was both wild and untamed. I've come to remind you, for you seem to forget, that Yule is the time of rebirth, and yet I see no hearth fires, hear no music, no bells. The air isn't filled with rich fragrant smells of baking and roasting and simmering stews, of ciders that mold and other hot brews. There aren't any children at play in the snow or houses lit up by candles' glow. Have you forgotten, my children, the fun of celebrating the rebirth of the sun? She looked at the fay folk, her eyes going round as they shuffled their feet and stared at the ground. Then she smiled the smile that brings light to the day. Come, my children, come, let's play. They gathered the mistletoe, gathered the holly, threw off the drab and drew in the jolly. They lit a big bonfire, they danced and they sang. They brought out the bells and they clapped when it rang. They strung lights on the trees and bows oh so merry, in colors of cranberry, bayberry, and cherry. They built giant snowmen, adorned them with hats, then surrounded them with snowbirds and snowcats and bats. Then just before dawn, at the end of their feast, before they went homeward to seek out their rest, the fay folk they gathered round their favorite oak tree and welcomed the sun neath the tree's finery. They were just reaching home when it suddenly came. The gold light returned like an arrow shot flame. It lit on the treetop where they could see from afar. The golden-like sphere turned into a star. The old crone just smiled at the beautiful sight. Happy Yuletide, my children. Good night.
That's beautiful, Dia. Thank you so much. I'm Reverend Judith, and this is a solstice carol by the Weird Sisters. The fire is burning, the long night draws near. All who need comfort are welcomed by here. We'll dance near the stars and toast the past year, for the spirit of solstice is still living here. We'll count our life's blessings while the mother lays down, with snow as her blanket covering the ground. Thanks to the mother for the life that she brings. She'll awaken to warm us again in the spring. The poor and the hungry, the sick and the lost, these are our children, no matter the cost. Come by the fire, the harvest to share, for the spirit of solstice is still living here. The fire is burning, the long night draws near. All who need comfort are welcomed by here. We'll dance 'neath the stars and toast the past year, for the spirit of justice is still living here. The spirit of solstice is still living here. Wishing you all a joyous Yuletide and a new year blessed with justice, compassion, peace, and love. So mote it be. Steve will now release our circle.
We thank you, North and Earth. Though you are hard now, you will be fertile later. We thank you, West and Water. Though you are frozen now, you will be flowing later. We thank you, South and Fire. Though you bring little warmth now, you will be blazing with the heat later, and in our own homes and our own bonfires. And we thank you, East and Air. Though you bite our faces now, you will kiss us with warmth later. The circle is open, yet never broken. Merry meet and merry part, and merry meet again. Blessed be.
And as we take up our candles, if we have one with us that we've kindled, or if you didn't kindle one, imagine that you're holding the light of the Yuletide full moon. And as we reflect on Yuletide, on the full moon, our connections with each other tonight in this rite, let us also reflect on us being part of a community that has been celebrating solstice across the ages, across faith traditions around the world. And as we look ahead to the new solar year and to what's unfolding in our happy holiday times, I invite you to call to mind a word or a phrase, something that you carry with you from our circle tonight. And if you wish, those of you who are joining us live and later, we invite you to put it in the chat, into the comments, which we'll look at once we are all done. Yuletide joy upon us, Yuletide joy around us, Yuletide joy within us, Yuletide joy, peace, love within us and around us. Good Yule! Yo, Saturnalia! Happy holidays! Merry Christmas! And by whatever other names you may be celebrating this holiday time, Happy Hanukkah coming up, Happy Kwanzaa coming up, and Good Hogmanay, which is Scottish New Year's and Yuletide all woven together. So, as we move forth from this sacred circle, carry with you some of this Yuletide joy and share it with others. And now I invite you to continue with Yuletide spirit of sharing and giving and connecting, to hear some messages about some ways to continue this act of being together and celebrating Yuletide and the bright moon. I invite Maren to share with us a message.
Thank you, Selena. Walking in a Winter Wonderland and Silent Night Solstice Night were favorites to sing growing up, and I was so very happy to share these versions here tonight. They are available on a special Yuletide EP on my Bandcamp called Solstice Carols Round the Yule Tree. And all proceeds from this sales of this EP will be donated to Mother Grove Goddess Temple out of Asheville, North Carolina. Byron Ballard and the other folks there at the temple have been boots on the ground since 13 weeks ago when Hurricane Helene came through and devastated the area of Asheville and the surrounding communities. Homes, businesses, and entire towns were washed away in the flood. So anything that you would be able to send would be absolutely grateful for. I'm going to put some information in the chat for you to be able to send whatever you would be able to. Thank you. Blessed holidays.
Thank you for joining us for this Full Moon Circle broadcast. We give thanks to our wonderful Circle Sanctuaries volunteers, Judith, Dia, Chris, Laura, Richard, Shar, Marin, Steve, Christopher, Diane, Michael, and Nora, and of course, Circle Sanctuaries founder and senior minister, Selena Fox. Thank you all. Please consider joining the Circle community by becoming a member or donating. We have a wealth of nature spirituality information available on our website. Find links to our weekly Circle podcasts and check out our extensive archives on our Circle Sanctuary YouTube channel. If you'd like to be a presenter on one of our monthly Full Moon Circle broadcasts, please email circle@circlesanctuary.org and put Full Moon Circle in the subject line. Blessed Yuletide, one and all.